Hi, this is Maginoni, and I'm doing my Blackest Night overview review. Overall, I was pretty happy with DC's storyline, this epic storyline, that started way back when they did the relaunching of Green Lantern and his secret origin. The untold truth about what happened. Then, the storyline went through the Sinestro Corps War, and then they introduced all the other Lanterns until we finally got to the Blackest Night. Overall, I thought that the build-up was really, really good. It wasn't until late in the series that I was listening to a podcast that I realized that I've been cheated as a reader. I got a Cliff Note version of what should have happened. And I know there's going to be people out there who are going to think, Cliff Note version, what do you mean? There was Blackest Night comics, there's Green Lantern comics, there's the Corps comics, there were the miniseries that happened, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Titans, plus there was the JLA crossovers, the Western crossovers, Starman crossovers, everything. How can this be Cliff Notes? What about all the other trades? Well, I'm telling you, we got cheated. We got a partial story. What got me thinking that was somebody said, I was really excited when I saw the Spectre fight Necron. And it was an epic fight. And when I sat there and I listened to it, I was like, there was an epic fight. I don't understand this. Because the Spectre came out, and he went through Necron, and the fight was over. I'm like, I don't get it. Where's the battle? There was no battle. How is this being epic? This was a waste of my time. It was an incomplete. That's what I'm saying. Cliff Note version. I can give you other examples even. You hear in the same issue, you had Orange Lantern Lex Luthor and the Black Lantern Superman. It's over. That's it. This is all you get. This was an epic battle waiting to happen. You have Lex Luthor with an orange greed ring. He was insane with power. And the dead Superman. An undead Superman who doesn't worry about consequences for his actions. And nothing. Nothing happened. Here you have Phalanx fighting Spectre. Again, this is an epic battle. And it is over within less than an issue. You even have this part here where he turns into a Red Lantern before he finally eventually goes back to what he should be. There's nothing. There's no consequence. There's no character development. There's no characters going through extreme adversity and then having to become stronger for it at the end. You have in Blackest Night 7, you have, great build. Look at this battle that's coming here. You have all these lanterns battling. There's nothing. You just see a bunch of colors just going to the center of the page. Nothing's happening. You have, while the artwork is good, it's just pictures on a page. There's nothing to it. You have, the Lex going, give me power, give me your rings, and nothing happens. There's no inner conflict between these people. This is a story where, you have people betraying each other in the middle of battle. And there's motivations, there's character development, there's a whole new story angle that they just ignore. And deep down, I just feel cheated. Even here, where you have the birth of the White Lantern, it's the same thing. It's like, I want more from this. I don't want Sinestro just to come in and say, no, 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 this is my time, and the next thing you see, he's the White Lantern. I want to see him do something to earn this power. Not, get out of my way, Hal, it's mine. That's stupid. That's a waste of my time. Even here, when you look at it, you have the Sinestro fighting Necron. This should be, at minimum, of 4 issues of battle. And I don't mean necessarily straight, this is all they do is just battle. I'm talking about 4 issues of these two fighting, and then resolving all the other conflicts that are happening. It's over. Before you know it, it's over. You know, like, I don't even know what's going on here. 1 minute Sinestro's hurt, the next minute he's back to normal again. We'll just throw in all these other characters just to throw fluff in there so this way it looks cool. And we'll throw lots of color into this thing. That looks cool. And, you know, everybody's just eating it up. Oh, then now let's make the White Lanterns appear, so now all the dead heroes are now good. Why? Why did they earn that? They didn't. Nothing happened to make them earn this right to be like this. There's no triumph. There's nothing. It's a false victory. Even here, when they finally figure out, oh, let's shoot that thing right through Necron, and then we'll get the Black Hand is Necron's weakness, and you have the Anti-Monitor free. How many people wanted to see the Anti-Monitor just battle it out with Necron? I did. What did I get? I get, oh, banished. Banished. Look how fast. Banished. Please. You know, you can't, who cares? How many people didn't think, oh, these three for sure would have been, or sorry, these four would have been alive again? Come on. You know, this is ridiculous. And, you know, then I started thinking, I know what the problem is. They don't know how to tell a story properly. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Here is a couple trade paperbacks for the Sinestro War. See how thick that is, right? Now this is my personal favorite comic, called One Piece. This here is one story arc, the Skypiea storyline. This is the storyline where Luffy and his crew go to fight God. Let's look at the difference here. This is just beautiful pictures on the screen. I'm sorry, on the pages. That's all they are. Beautiful pictures, you know, little battling here and there, some people die here and there, and then, you know, everything's retconned back. Let's look at this here for a minute. You have 7 volumes of storyline. Look how, this is how thick one issue is. Now granted, it's not beautiful, it's not colored, and it's not on the best possible paper that you can imagine for a comic or anything like that. It's not hardback, it's, you know, paper. But this was a complete story. You had character development, you had growth, you had characters having to overcome great adversity, you had history, you had backgrounds, you had a whole new world that they can explore. You had not just Luffy and his crew fighting, you had like basically a civil war going on there on the island of Skypiea. You had, in a sense, a reference to like what happened with the Native American Indians and how they got pushed out and now they want their land back type thing. This was a complete story. By the time Luffy and his crew started here, they were slightly different by the end. Now granted, the personalities all pretty much remained the same, but when you watched, or I should say read, Luffy fighting Kami, it was one of the most amazing fights you'll ever see. And it didn't just end in 5 pages. I mean, this battle went on like volumes, and it wasn't boring. It was interesting. You know, you had a guy who was virtually unbeatable fighting a guy who was like Mr. Fantastic, but not smart. But for some reason, even though he's not smart, he can use his rubber powers in ways that Mr. Fantastic could never dream of using it. This was entertaining. This was rewarding. This was just beautiful pictures. And that's all it was. If you have any questions, comments, don't like what I said, leave some comments. And until next time.